Hi there and welcome along to another workout for you to row along to. It's really important if you've had a hard week of training that you take 1 or 2 sessions to slow everything down, have a recovery row where you get to work on your fitness and your technique, which is what we're doing today. Although it would have been funny if I'd have said, but today we're sprinting, but no. Today we're doing a nice recovery fitness boosting row, which gives you time to work on your technique. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 30 minutes at 18 strokes a minute, and we're gonna do it at 2K plus 20 to 22 pace. So it's really sitting back to give you a chance to recover. Because if you're doing this as part of the 10K plan, don't worry, you don't have to do this row as part of the 10K plan. You can do it as a standalone. But if you are, then this has been a tough week, okay? This has been one that should, it really felt in your legs, okay? So today's session just gives you a chance to slow down, to just think about things and just go, calm your jets a little bit before going into session 5 to end the week, and then you can start afresh into week 4, okay? Now, I'm gonna do today's session strapless, which means taking my feet out of the straps. You can follow suit as well because it's really good to work on your technique, but if you've never done it before, I maybe recommend loosening the straps rather than just taking your feet completely out, just in case if you're not used to it, you go falling off the back of the machine. I explain why I do it in the session, don't worry about it, I will explain. But for the time being, let's get into our 4-minute warm-up. Now, as always, we start off by setting up our machine. Let's head straight for drag factor, which on the concept 2 is the lever on the side of the machine. If you don't know what drag factor is, then where have you been? I've got a video on this channel which explains what it is and kind of some ideas where to set it. I have mine set at 115 in case you're wanting to play along with me. If you're using a machine that just has some kind of random resistance, just set it to a point you get a good amount of weight out the stroke, but you don't have to heave and shove at it, okay? You want to make sure you get the power from your legs and not have to generate it from your back because it's too heavy, right? Next up, if you can, set your monitor at eye height so you're not looking up and you're not looking down. And finally, adjust your foot stretchers so that you're able to get to the front of the machine comfortably with your shins pointing straight up, okay, vertically. That's important, okay? If they're set too high up, you might not be able to get there. If they're too low down, you'll go flying past that hyperextend, and that's not really good. It's a good kind of rule of thumb. Base of the straps go over the balls of your feet and see how you feel from there, okay? Then adjust from there, all right? Enough jibber-jabbering, wibble-wabbering, way. Let's get into our 4-minute warm-up at 18 strokes a minute. It's all about the 18s today. And you're gonna start off at a pace that's really just a push from your legs as though you were just standing up, okay? Because we're gonna start off with the first minute working on the timing of the stroke, okay? You ready to go? In 3, 2, 1, go. Now, by timing of the stroke, what I mean is there's 2 main elements you need to try and connect together. They are your foot or your feet driving into the foot stretchers, pushing into the machine, and your hands picking up the handle that then pulls on the flywheel or the water wheel or whatever you have. So what you want to do is push with your feet at the same time the handle picks up whatever mechanism your machine uses to generate power. You'll tell if you push too soon with your feet because your butt will scoot away from underneath you. Okay, you don't want that. And if you tug too soon with the hands, you'll find your elbows bend way too early. So we're a minute in. You can start adding a little bit more power. If you know your 2K training pace, start to aim for round about 2K plus 20. If you don't know your 2K training pace, then row a 2,000 meter time trial. Divide the result by 4, and that gives you your average time to cover 500 meters in a 2K time trial. And that's your 2K training pace. So if your total time was 8:20, your average is 2 minutes 5. And when I say row at 2K plus 20, you want the screen to show 2:25 per 500 meters. All right, one more stroke. Put one foot on the floor, carry on rowing. And that entire thing about a 2K training pace is on the description to nearly all of my videos. So have a quick read if it was too quick. because it is quite hard to get through it in 20 seconds. Keep rowing here with this one foot strapped in. Try and keep your technique as close to normal as possible. Swap feet. I know it's a little bit strange rowing with only one leg in, but I want you to still think about the timing of that leg push and picking up the handle. Try not to over compress, because you can. Over compression is when you go whoa and you go sliding right into the front of the machine and your knees are up your nostrils because you're so over compressing. Don't do that. Right, both feet in, legs straight. Just row with your back and arms. So swing over your back, pull in your arms. So you pick up the power first by swinging your back, and then you pull in your arms. And of course then you push out your arms and swing back over your back. It's really important timing, sequencing here doing this. Okay, roll to the front of the machine with straight arms and a forward lean, and just press out with your feet, not too hard. I want you to keep this position, okay? If you push too hard, you'll end up naturally going like that. Just keeping that forward lean with straight arms and get that timing right between the foot press and the pickup of the flywheel. 2 more. Let's do 1 more. Ta-da! That's a 4-minute warm-up done. To be honest, it's not a huge warm-up, but today's session isn't going to be a huge session. So that should just be enough to get you eased off a little bit, ready for today's workout, which I will explain in a second. So just keep on moving up and down the rail, have a quick drink, and yeah, I'll explain it again. Okay, then I'll try and make this brief because I don't want you to cool down. What we're doing today is 30 minutes at 18 strokes per minute. Non-stop, no rests. Your pace is going to be right about 2k plus 20 to 22. Don't worry if you ease off down to that 22. This is all about recovery today and giving you time to work on your technique. As such, I'm going to be rowing this with my feet out of the straps to really work on that core at the back to make sure I'm nice and stable and I'm not doing anything kind of weird. You may wish to join me. If it's your first time rowing strapless, then loosen them about that much off your feet so that if something goes wrong, you can flick your feet back and catch yourself before you end up falling into whatever's behind you. All right, so like I say, my feet out of the straps. I'm just gonna go for this, okay? So here we go. 30 minutes, 18 strokes a minute at 2k plus 20 to 22. In 3, 2, 1, go. Right, just follow me for stroke rate, both on the video, or if you are listening to this on the podcast, you will hear the whoosh of my flywheel, but you'll also be able to tell by my speech pattern, because I do tend to not talk at the moment of the leg drive. Now, why am I doing this strapless? Well, let's talk this quickly while you just get a little bit warmer. It's a stability exercise, really, that you need to be able to row fluidly through each phase of your stroke, moving momentum of your body for the recovery, because you can't pull yourself forwards with the straps, but also making sure that all of the power from your legs goes into the machine, rather than if you're the type that gets to the back of the machine and has to tug on the foot straps in order to stop yourself, then that's power that could have gone into the machine, into the flywheel, that you're just wasting at the back of the machine by flicking your feet against the foot straps. And after all, the one, or well, let's put it this way, what you want to be when rowing is as fast as possible, but as efficient as possible too. So you want all of the power that you're putting into the machine to go into the machine, because that will keep you fast and keep you able to rowing able to row for as long as you want. So the rowing stroke is all about being as efficient as possible, trying not to waste energy by using muscles that you really don't need to be using. And so that definitely means needing to use muscles to stop yourself at the back of the stroke and tugging yourself forwards by flicking your feet up to roll to the front of the machine again. And as hopefully I am proving to you right now, well, I am proving it to you, it's not hopeful at all. I am neither stuck at the back of the machine because I'm unable to pull myself forwards, nor am I flying off the back of the machine because I'm not stopping myself with my feet. I think I just phrased that completely the wrong way around by using the negative knots. Naughty John. All right, we're 5 minutes into this. Let's quickly just talk about one element of the stroke, and that's the drive, which is when you put in that power. Okay, so here, push, that's the drive, push. And you want to think about the drive being something that happens from the legs. Okay, so the drive is called such because you don't really think of what you're doing with your arms as a drive, do you? No. But your legs are driving into the machine. So that is where 60% of the power of your stroke should be coming from, is your legs pushing into the machine. Push. Okay, so leg drive. So the rowing stroke is not a pulling motion. Yes, you finish with a pull, and that's important. So don't forget about the pull to a finish, but it's at the finish. The first half to 3/4 of the drive phase are done with your arms straight. When you're hanging off the handle with your hands. So if you have your arms straight and you have a forward lean into the front of the machine to about 1 o'clock position, as you push with your legs, the power from your legs goes up through your body, through your arms, into your fingers, which are hooked. Aye, I'll say it in a Scottish accent. They're hooked over the handle, sonny. They're not grasping onto it. They're hooked. I'll go catch Nessie with my wee hooked fingers. I'm going to get thrown out of the country for that, aren't I? Anyway, sorry, I just realised that I have few words that I do say very Scottishly, and hooked is one of them. Your fingers are hooked. And 11, that's the other one. 11 comes after 10, before 12. 11. It makes Stranger Things slightly different, wouldn't it? Instead of being, oh, 11, you're amazing. It was like, oh, 11, over here. Be a bit more aggressive. Sorry. I've had a rough day. I'm suddenly in my safe place with you. I seem to have gone slightly mad in order to cope with my tough day. I'll tell you about it at the end, don't worry. So, forward lean, arms straight, fingers hooked. They are hooked over the handle. If I say it in an English accent, would that be any better? Make sure and hook. Now, hook your fingers over the handle. Not a death grip, hook. That's all I'm saying. And then you push with the legs, and that power should just transfer into the handle as you hang off it. And what I mean by hang is that you're not actually thinking about pulling with the handle. You're just a conduit for the force from your legs. And you might feel, if you were in the right position and your leg drive is powerful enough and you're holding that forward lean for at least half of the leg drive, then you should find this hanging sensation happens. It's like your backside feels just a little bit lighter on the seat. Not so much that you are taking off. If that happens, it's a good chance your feet are set too low in the foot straps. But as you push, you hang. You feel that power just flow through. And again, if you feel that you're not getting that flow and you're having to really kind of pull against the weight of the machine, chances are
one of two things are happening. Number one, you're not actually pushing with the legs. You're kind of doing a very perfunctory. Can you limp with your legs? Of course you can, yeah. Like a limp, mild meh with the legs. Because you're not quite got it right yet, that this is a push with the legs motion. So everything seems to just be getting generated, power-wise anyway, from the pull of your arms. So if you are in that situation, I want you to think about pushing the machine through the wall. Okay? So you come to the front, push it through the wall. Okay? So you're pushing the machine away from you. I don't want you to think about pushing yourself backwards, and I certainly don't want you to think about pulling the handle. I just want you to be in a forward lean, straight arms, and then push the machine away. Push. Okay? And hopefully that will start to resonate better with you what I'm saying about a good push. And we're not just trickling the machine, we're trying to push it through the wall, okay? Lots of power from your quads. Like I said at the beginning, I think, I hope. Or was I too busy doing Scottish accents? The leg drive should be responsible for 60% of the power from your stroke, okay? So the majority of the power comes from your leg drive. So anyway, push with the legs. But the other reason that you might not be getting this hang feeling right could be that you have the drag factor, the weight of the stroke for concept 2, how heavy it feels to make the flywheel turn, or whatever you're using, maybe the water wheel or the magnet, whatever. If that's set too high and the weight of your stroke feels like you're rowing like a cruise ship rather than a little rowing boat, then what tends to happen is that you either fight with your hands and your arms, fight and pull early from the front, fight, which is almost sending me flying off the back actually, or you swing your back and really put your entire back into the stroke because it's so heavy. It's the only way you can get the flywheel moving. And trust me, as just demonstrated then, if you have quite a low drag factor, remember I said mine is set to 115. If I get it wrong and pull with my arms instead of drive with my legs, my pace plummets. And I've said before, plummet is not a word that ever comes before something good. You don't plummet to your success. You don't plummet into your lover's arms. Plummet is bad. And so by pulling with my arms early, or swinging with my back early, rather than driving with my legs, my time plummets. So I was going along at a okay 2 minutes and 5 or 2 minutes and 6 seconds, and then when I try and demonstrate the bad technique, I'm down to like 2:12 or something. So don't do that. Drive with the legs, and if you feel you're having to fight the machine by pulling or swinging your back early, drop the drag factor or the resistance, or remove some water from your tank. Must be said, quick caveat here, water rower people have it tougher at these low stroke rates. So, whereas the Concept 2 is kind of set up so that 18 strokes per minute at 2K plus 20 feels kind of in tune with your abilities compared to like 30 strokes a minute at 2K pace. The difference between 30 strokes a minute and 18 strokes a minute in terms of the effort you have to put in to turn the water wheel in a lot of water rowers is actually a lot tougher. So it's like, to do these 18 strokes a minute rows, you have to remove a little bit of water, and then when you go up to the sprint stuff, you have to put that water back in again, which you don't have to do. You don't have to raise and lower your drag on a Concept 2 or RP3 or even the nasty skill row. Techno Gym have their own rower called a skill row. Me no likey. The handle's rough. The seat's got these weird ridges in it. The stroke feels like a limp handshake. And the monitor, although it looks fancy, you don't really have a chance to find that out because you have like 3 seconds after you stop rowing and it just shuts off on you. So if you're the kind of person that likes metrics, and it's like £3,500. So, although it will be interesting, Peloton have just announced that they're going to bring out a rowing option. Must be to compete with me. It'll be interesting to see how much their machine costs on top of the subscription. So you could, I'm going to say it'll be around about £2,000 for their rowing machine. Plus, was it £40 a month subscription? And that's in the first year then, about £2,500 Or you could just buy a Concept 2 for £800 second hand. You can almost find them £600 second hand. Load up these videos for free. Don't have to pay another penny. And then hopefully that's all you need. Or if it turns out, perish the thought, that you actually don't really enjoy rowing, you can just sell your row machine on again. And if you bought it second hand, you'll probably sell it for the amount of money you bought it for. Whereas I doubt you'd get £2,000 back for whatever Peloton are going to release. I'm losing my voice. I have to spend the next 6.5 minutes rowing in silence. Never. Right, so we've spoken about the drive. I just want to throw in posture, because that's really important. So as you come forwards into that forward lean, you want to be up on your sit bones, okay, up with a prepared core, let's say, ready, so that as you push with the legs, you can brace your core against the power. Fight the power. And you hold that powerful posture even up to the point when you get halfway through the leg drive and swing. You hinge, swing over your hips from that forward lean to your backward lean at the finish. But you still want a powerful posture at the finish, braced core, ready, so that all you have to do is tilt forwards again and you're in that perfect lean again. Whereas if you get to the finish and crumple, then you have to somehow straighten yourself up again. And really, you want to have arms straight and that forward lean before you bend your knees. So you finish, handle over your knees, rock, recover. Push, rock, recover. Push, rock, recover. And when I say push with a handle, it's more of a release, okay? So the pace you brought the handle in at, I want you to release it at the same pace. So in, out, nice rhythm. I don't want to see you going in, out, whee. As fun as it is, in, whee. It's all about rhythm, it's all about flow. This is what enables your momentum to flow through the phases of your stroke, so that you're able to use it to recover rather than using the foot straps to pull yourself forwards. Because I'm still strapless, No movie magic. It's all about flow. Get into the front of the machine, push. Don't hang around at the front. Got a phrase, turn it around. So you come forwards, turn it around. Turn it around. It was a great club track in the late 90s. Turn it around, babe. Can't remember who it was. Elena someone, I think. That's how I always think of every time I say turn it around. Ooh. Just over 2 minutes to go. Will my voice hold up for another 2 minutes plus cool down? So carry on pushing with your legs. Fingers hooked over the handle, which not only helps with the power transfer, but gives you a tiny bit more length to your stroke. And because your palms are open instead of closed in a grip, air can circulate around your hands, reducing the amount of heat and therefore sweat, and therefore blisters and calluses. So we're seeing lots of people asking about gloves for rowing. You don't really need them. If you have a really tight grip on the handle, all that friction will eventually lead to blisters. Whereas fingers hooked over the handle nice and loose, you might find the first few rows of your career, your fingers will feel a bit tender, but eventually they're fine. I'm used to it without them being really calloused and rough. Okay, 3 strokes. 2 more. 1 more. I'll have a quick drink, see if that helps my voice. Don't know where my voice is going. Is that any better? Not really. Okay. Oi. Cool down. Time. Just setting up a new cool down thing. I've got so many of them in my ErgZone app that they get buried somewhere. So I need to keep on setting a new one from time to time. Okay, let's see if we can do that. Right, we have just done a very simple session. So this cool down is more about just being in the habit of a cool down than anything else. You probably don't need it. Your heart rate's probably getting close to its baseline, but let's do this just to make sure and, you know, get it in there. So 3, 2, 1, here we go. So just 18 strokes a minute and just whatever power you want to put in, just to make it feel as though you're having the cool down. Let those muscles just pump. Get whatever you need to get out of your muscles out. Hope you enjoyed today's session. I know these long, low stroke rates aren't everyone's cup of tea, but they're really important, okay? Because they let you slow down and work on your technique, and because that long, low heart rate, low intensity row is where your foundation fitness is built. That's what gives you the size of the engine, the size of a Ferrari engine. is built from sessions like this, and then you do the fast ones to give you the tuning for the pistons to fire really fast, really long. Does that work as an analogy? I hope it does. But I know they're not for everyone. Some people love the slow stuff and hate the fast stuff. Some people love the fast stuff and hate the slow stuff. But to be an all-over, well-rounded rower with a bit of speed and a bit of fitness, you need to come in and out of both of them. And you'll see for my plans, it mixes it all up. I don't give you like 20 slow ones and one fast one. It's not like that. So, just like cats and dogs, some people like them, some people don't like them. One more stroke, and we're done. And it's funny I used that analogy today actually, cats and dogs thing is, today I'm one cat down. My, used to have 3 cats, and then last May, we said goodbye to Lucky, the boy cat. Sadly he left us. And today we say goodbye to Aussie, one of my little girl cats. So she's gone. I'm down to 1 cat now. I'm no longer a mad cat man. You can't be a mad cat man with only 1 cat. You can with 3. Everyone goes, 3? Really? But yeah, so Aussie left us today. So actually I'm recording these out of order. So I'm doing this one, session 4, and then I'm doing session 3 tomorrow, because after saying goodbye to Aussie, I just didn't have it in me to do the 40-minute push pace today. So yeah, so that's just in case you're following my Facebook feed and going, hang on, his days are wrong. I've flipped these the wrong way around, although they will appear for you in the right order, and you'll be like, hey, what? What? Anyway, so yeah, so just like cats and dogs, eh? Yeah, but you don't own a cat. You love it. You rent it for however long. She lived until she was 18, so she was our furry baby. The 3 of them were our furry babies when we got them, and it's just sad we've only got 1 left now. Little Ziggy's the only one left. But yeah, so anyway, so the hashtag for today's row, in memoriam for little Aussie Bear, is Aussie, as in Ozzy Osbourne, O-Z-Z-Y. We thought it was a boy first, so that's why it's called Aussie. But it turned out to be a little girl, but we're still Aussie, so O-Z-Z-Y. And my wee cat, it's just sad. I don't know if you might not like cats, you might be like, oh, Craig, why is he? But trust me, for the people that get it, you'll know how I'm feeling today. It's just, maybe that's why I'm losing my voice, because I did shed a tear or 2. So anyway. So yeah, on that note, I'm just making myself sad again, so I'm going to say goodbye. It's a bit of a downer ending, isn't it? But yeah, so today, this was week 3, session 4. I'm going to say I hope you did well on week 3, session 3, which is the 40-minute push pace. But I've not recorded that yet, so I don't know how you've done, because no one's left me comments, but I'm just going to hope you did. It will have been a tough session, but it'll be interesting to find out from people whether how you got on compared to the first time we did it in week 1. But anyway, enough of that session. Today's 30 minutes at 18 strokes per minute is just a really important row, and I hope that you at least got through it with me and you put up with my little voice going away. So anyway, you have yourself a great day. Please stay safe and be well. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.